I bet you've seen a lot of Hollow Knight randomizer videos around, but what about Silksong? I don't see it getting much love when it comes to randomizers, or at the very least I haven't seen that many on my For You page. Well, there is one out now for Archipelago, which I wanted to check out. Can I beat the game when every item I pick is random? Wait, why is Menderbug here? Not long after the events of Hollow Knight Randomizer, after making sure Dirthmet and the survivors of Hallownest are safe, Hornet started investigating the whereabouts of Menderbug, the bug at fault for most objects in Hallownest being in the wrong spot. She looked all around the kingdom but couldn't find anything until she made it to the outskirts of Hallownest. There, she found tracks that looked like would fit a bug of that size alongside items that would never be found in the wasteland. That's when Hornet realized that Menderbug left Hallownest and she decided to follow him, as she couldn't let a being powerful enough to enter and change dreams roam the world. Her journey took her far, and in the end she got to the entrance of Farloom, but something was not right. Somehow she could feel Menderbug all around her, but she could not see him. That's when the bridge below her disappeared out of nowhere, as if it was moved from below her feet. That's how Hornet fell into Moss Grotto, and later woke up to find her normal needle gone and a new weapon on her. That's when she realized Menderbug's influence has grown immensely and she has to stop him. A Silksong randomizer. I'm quite excited to play through the game with it. The Hollow Knight one was quite fun, even though I kinda got stuck at the end of it. Oh yeah, speaking of which, this video is a sequel of sorts to the randomizer for Hollow Knight I did a while back, so I would recommend you watch that video too, but it's not entirely necessary. But then again, it would be good for engagement and stuff and views, you know? I'm using the Archipelago one with a custom Silksong rando made by Bat Video Games. There is a randomizer coming at some point made by the same team that did the Hollow Knight one, so I would recommend you to wait for it, as the Archipelago installation and setup was kinda weird. All that aside, let's see how the playthrough went and where I got stuck this time. Moss Grotto was truly uneventful, other than the crest with which I start and the fact that Moss Mother had rewards. From what I've seen, this randomizer doesn't affect quest items, which I am happy for that, neither chests or rosary strings found on the ground. There is one or multiple of each in Moss Grotto, so I was able to see how it would work. If I didn't have the starting quest randomized, I wouldn't even know for sure if the mod worked or not. As for Moss Mother, well, she gave me 80 shell shards. Bosses do have rewards in this version of the randomizer, which is an interesting choice. This makes it so you want to fight as many bosses as you can in order to see if their drop can help you with progression or not. As for the fight itself, it was really annoying that I couldn't pogo properly, and here I thought only the beast pogo was hard to use. Yeah, I don't like the architect pogo either. Oh, a newcomer? How did you end up in the grotto though? I think it was the making of a bug with powers beyond what I can understand. Now that I think about it, weird things have been happening a lot lately. Like what exactly? Well, one day I found my staff in the shop of that Peb from Bone Bottom. He swore he didn't know how it got there. The other pilgrims have also been losing items, but waking up with others in their place. That does sound very familiar to me. In Bone Bottom, I met up with Peb, who had quite an interesting item for sale, the Silk Spear. I think shopkeepers will be even more useful in Silksong than in Hollow Knight, as I believe there are a lot more of them than in the first game. Hopefully they do have some really good items. I didn't get the Silk Spear right away, as I still needed some money. The items sold retain the original price of the item that is normally in that slot. That's why the Choral Commandment was 500 rosaries. Not worth at all. I then took a walk through the marrow and found the first randomized item that was on the ground. And instead of the shell pendant, I found a new crest. The Reaper crest was a really good find, both because now I have a proper pogo, but also because the crest slots have their own randomized items on them. The way they work is weird. When you use a memory locket, you unlock the randomized reward and have to find the actual slot out there as a random item in the world. When I met up with Chakra, I wasn't expecting anything interesting, as I already had the Silk Spear at Peb, but she surprised me when I saw Swift Step in her shop. Okay, this looks a bit rigged, and it will look even more rigged as time goes on. I don't know what this seed was. All I know is that it was pretty good. Like right now. Not even 2 minutes later and I found a very late game ability with Elegy of the Deep just on the cliff here. I can't really use it right now, and to be honest I don't want to fight any Act 3 boss, but I guess I can if I really need to. Daughter of Weavers, for you I have kept this power safe. Now you may cut through the silk threads in your way. Take this silk... Wait, that's not a silk spear. I was wondering how to cut through silk with a cloak. That darn Menderbug striked again. Okay, I also forgot how many good things I got in just the first area alone. The Weaver power-up gave me Drifter's Cloak. You can go ahead and call me a cheater if you want, but I didn't do anything. I just took the files needed and used them in the Archipelago program. I hope I'm just lucky and didn't screw anything up during the setup. With enough rosaries, I went and bought the Silk Spear as I want to get to the Bell Beast, but also to quickly do the wish for the Moss Druid. And that was a really good idea, as the reward for it was a Bellway station. The Grand Bellway station. Okay, I'm also starting to believe this is rigged. Druid, how did you come across this Bellway station? What is a Bellway? I don't know. I wanted to give you something more appropriate, but it is no longer here, and that was in its place. Take it or not, it is of no concern to me. Okay, then let's go pet the Bell Beast and gain access to Act 2 before even getting out of the Marrow. The fight itself was quite chill, just a normal Bell Beast fight. That's the thing with this run. I won't spend much time on how the boss fights went, as for the most part, this was a normal run combat-wise. There wasn't anything special like the challenge runs I normally do, so there were no special strategies for different bosses. The main interesting part of this run was the randomized items in the areas which I could access because of them. Oh right, the reward for this fight was the Hunter Crest, which I used for the rest of the run. It is quite interesting how the rando did make me skip the Silk Heart cutscene. But before going to the Citadel, I was wondering if you have been enjoying this video. If so, why not leave a like, comment, or subscribe to the channel? It helps a lot with engagement and growth. It has been an amazing first few months for this channel, and I hope the growth continues as I will go forwards and post more challenge runs. I will try to get a video out every week or two, with the next one being in a different game. I have been thinking about one Minecraft challenge I wanted to do, so that's gonna be next. I hope you will stick around to check that out, and whatever else I have planned in the future. Making it into the Citadel, I started unlocking the amenities from the Grand Bellway. Before doing this run, I was wondering how Act 3 abilities would work, as everything is now random. Well, I did get Elegy of the Deep earlier, and now I got another Act 3 exclusive ability. I found a Silksong in the map machine. I guess I could now go to any Act 3 area, not Verdania, as I think I need to free the Green Prince and do his quest first, but still. It looks like a lost spider made its way into the Citadel. How did you bypass so much of the pilgrimage so fast? I don't know who you are or what you want, but I have a job to do. The Bellway? Oh right, that bug that came to Farloom. Don't worry about that one. I can take care of him. Also, it's not your time yet. You came here too early. What do you mean too early? Anyway, I won't stop. Menderbug is also my problem. Do what you want, little spider. I won't stop you. That's where I decided to stop when it comes to exploring the Citadel. I don't have Cling Grip or any needle upgrades, so I wanted to go back to a more normal route to see if I can get some more items that would help. First I went to the Chapel of the Wanderer, as it was close to Bone Bottom and I wanted to check it out. Unfortunately, all the Wanderer left there were some rosaries. Then I actually made use of the Silk Sword to break progression and already make it into Shellwood. That was quite interesting, as I had to do Shellwood backwards. In there I saved a flea that gave me Quick Sling, quite useful early on as it doubles the red tool's thrown. After that I did a Cling Grip skip and got to the Weaver. Too bad it was just another tool. Weave Light can be good, but I don't even have a Silk Heart to speed up. A while later I made it to Bellheart and unlocked the Bellway there. That's when I realized that unlocking the Bellway doesn't add it to the list. I think that should have been obvious to me back when I got the Grand Bellway as a reward. At least I got Chakra's rings. It was time for Greymoor. The nice thing is that if you come from Bellheart into Greymoor, Moorwing doesn't spawn. I will have to defeat it later for the item check, but that was a problem for future me. I made it to halfway home to get Noo's quest, as that will also give me an item check after completing it. A new face. Don't see that many, at least not in here. I would offer you a drink, but let me guess, all the drinks you had were replaced with anything but liquids. I guess it wasn't just a prank played on me specifically. So other bugs had this happen to them? Yes, and I'm trying to get to the one responsible for all this. Give him a good beating and let him know it was partially from me. All the clients I've lost. I actually haven't done the crow area in quite a while, so let's get to that. The arena was quite easy this time around as I could just fight them normally. Then I went up to the Weaver Mummy and got a crest slot from it. Not that useful. Then I went back down to check the trifold pin, which gave me a crafting kit. That one is quite good as my tools will deal more damage now. Then the flea I rescued a bit later gave me a melody. Yeah, so the melodies are randomized too. It does make a lot of sense. Why not randomize them since the dreamers are in Hollow Knight? It's good to find one this early. Then I decided to return to the Marrow and actually take the normal route into Greymoor. There are a lot of item checks on the way there that I would not get if I just continued into Greymoor or the Citadel. When I made it to where Grindel is held up, the door was already busted and he was gone. I do wonder what exactly makes this happen, as I usually come in here to get the tool that is held in his cell, so I free him early. Either way, I got something really good, a silk heart. That will be very helpful for Silksong specifically, as it does require 1 silk, and until at this point I didn't have any passive silk generation. I also took a quick detour into Hunter's March as there are a bunch of checks throughout it, and I am really happy I did. When I defeated the Ant Arena and made it to Chakra, she had the claw line. I'm so happy that I managed to get most of the movement abilities so early, as I don't have to do any weird skips or have to go through the worst areas for them. I really didn't want to enter Bile water more than it was necessary. Child-wielding needle, you made it through those fearsome warriors. Congratulations. Thank you, Chakra. What are you doing? Didn't you have the maps ready? Ah, that one bug you're hunting. He took my maps and tools and scattered them. I'm better off remaking them than searching. After Hunter's March, I went back and started in Deep Docks. Unfortunately for me, most of the checks didn't have anything interesting. That is until I made it to the room with a spool fragment. After getting the fragment, I was rewarded with the needle in. Now I could get even more checks and even finish the game if I had all the melodies. Then I found the Shaman crest at Forge Daughter, but I can't buy it. The crest is there in place of the Silk Shot, which does require the ruined tool. Since there are 3 Silk Shot variants, I wonder if you can only get 1 ever per randomizer, or if the randomizer guarantees 3 ruined tools. Imagine if all 3 melodies or even 2 melodies are randomized in place of the Silkshot variants. The Lace Arena was empty. It was interesting. The fact that some bosses do not show up because of story progression is a really nice addition, as it makes the world feel more alive. I have this weird feeling that something important should have happened in here. I guess I want to know. I won't really go over Farfields, as I just did the usual go through them and get the Drifter's Cloak. The only cool thing I found was the Thread Storm in place of the Mask Fragment above the Seamstress. After Farfields, I decided to defeat Widow and free Belheart. There are quite a few checks in Belheart and I want to see what they have to offer. Even without grip, I was able to make it to Widow and unlock the shortcut to the bench because of Silksong. Then again, the only spot you need Cling Grip is at the very entrance. I did die once to the fight, specifically because I didn't have the Cling Grip. I died to the attack where she covers the ground in spikes and bells. I was not used to it without the ability, so I took too much damage. On the second attempt, I took her down and got a flea and the crest slot as a reward. I then donated the relics I had, upgraded my needle for the first time, did the missing courier wish, and then, before returning to Belheart, I decided to take a detour. I wanted to visit Ava and get the checks inside the Weaveness too. The Ava upgrade is not randomized, so I got the Hunter Crest upgrade, but the rest were, so I got the Forge Daughter Silk Shot and a Silk Heart. Afterwards, I went back up into Shellwood, as even though I skipped Sister Splinter, I should still take her on, as bosses do have checks even if normally they don't give anything. Thus, after a fight that was easier than normal because of my upgrades, I took Sister Splinter down and got a flea. Yay, I guess. Finally, I made it back to Belheart to check the shop there, only to find 2 fleas. Yeah, there's a lot of them, so they will show up a lot in random checks. With my needle upgraded, I was finally confident on going through the Citadel. The first stop being Songclave to unlock the bell and have the town set up a bit later. There is a shopkeeper there too, so it's an important place. The funniest thing in this run, besides the random fleas out of nowhere, is that a lot of mechanisms actually run a lot faster than normal. For example, the wheel on the way to Songclave just turns instantly, and a lot of elevators just go up and down in a few seconds. Good quality of life and really funny to see. So you say this Menderbug is the cause of all the changes in the kingdom? The normal bug have such powers? He's no normal bug anymore. Even back in my kingdom, he did a lot of unexplainable things. But to so easily move things around Farloom, you'd have to have the power of a higher being. Wait, that being atop the Citadel? I have been so focused on looking for clues about Menderbug that I didn't think to ask about other things. I think your Menderbug took over a higher being. I didn't think that to be possible. Clockwork dancers were next. It is quite nice that I did also manage to find a lot of mask fragments both before this and after. Health is quite needed when it comes to Silksong, as a lot of enemies deal 2 masks of damage. After going down in Clockwork Core, I did do the arena to the left and got the Plasmium file as a reward. That could come in handy later. Next up was the rest of the core I could do on my way to enter the Whispering Vaults. I also did the arena on the way there and unlocked the shortcut into Songclave. Throughout the vaults themselves, I didn't manage to find more than a few tools and some sources of rosaries. A bit sad that there was nothing important. Well, there were 2 things that could have been quite good. First is something I didn't realize at first, and that is I had the cylinder to give to Cardinius already, as I bought it a while ago thinking it was one that sold for money only. Unfortunately, I didn't get the melody from it, so I have to go and find the melody as an item. The second one was the pale oil. It is quite weird that this one is not randomized, even though it could be. To be fair, that could lead to having maxed nail from the very start of the game, or to have 3 pale oils stuck in Act 3 specific areas without a way to get them until later. You have the Holy Psalm cylinder. Give it. It's not yours. I will hand it over, but I need to learn the melody on it. A trade. I begrudgingly accept. Wait, why can't I recreate it on my Needlin? Is Menderbug's power so granted it affects my ability to create music? I should thank this bug, as the melody of the Vault Keepers won't be learned by a nobody like you. After finishing the vaults, I decided to go defeat Trobia for his checks, but to also go and meet with the 12th Architect, as well as all the other checks down in the Underworks. Well, Trobia only had the Ventrica Station and the Magma Bell, while the Architect only had one interesting thing, and that was the key to get into the Architect's Chapel to check what was in place of the Architect's crest. Unfortunately for me, the rest of the time I spent in the Underworks was for nothing. Other than a bunch of fleas and some other miscellaneous items, there wasn't anything else down there. This makes me hate the area even more than I already did, especially that I died a few times there and had to traverse it a bunch of times. With the Underworks hopefully forever behind me, I went and did the Jubilana quest to get her in the shop in Songclave. It was a pretty straightforward thing, as I could see on the map where she was located. I really like this map mod. With her back in town, I checked out the store. While nothing too exciting was there, she still had the white key, which is normally here anyway. I wonder if it was randomized like that, or if it is one of the few non-random things. Either way, I got the key if I ever needed to go into White Ward. Then I ran for a while around the coral chambers and the high halls without finding anything useful. That's when I decided to check out the melody atop the Cogwork core. It was just some platforming and a puzzle at the end, so it was quite an easy check to do right now. Without fade down, it was a bit more annoying to get through the platforming itself, but nothing I couldn't do as I had all the other tools at my disposal. And guess what was at the top? After doing the puzzle and going through the cutscene, I had obtained a fade down cloak. Yes, the final movement ability that I was missing. I believe right now I could go wherever I wanted to, which is pretty cool. One weird thing is that after getting fade down, the choir in the background started getting lit up again, and I also didn't regain my UI until a bit later. I guess not getting the melody proper kind of bugged out the cutscene and made it restart. Having fade down cloak, I thought about where to go next and got an idea. Since I now have the resistance to cold, why not go to Mount Fae and take my time in searching for items there. Also, having Silksong meant I could finish up the area nicely. Got there and found Chakra, who wanted to sell me more fleas. You used to be cool, Chakra. You had Swift Step. What happened to you? Then I took the normal route through the mountain. I could have skipped a bunch of things because I already had double jump, but I wanted to get all the checks I could, so I took the normal route. That led me to getting this mask shard near the first bench that gave me another melody. Now I was 2 out of 3 melodies and really close to being able to finish the game. It's always so funny to me to hear a flea after supposedly getting something important. I wonder where the Faithorn was keeping the flea before letting it go. With that area done, I decided to take on the ravine through which Hornet fell at the start of the game. First I went and checked the Weave Light spot where I almost died to the 2 Moss Mothers. Then I went up and got through the item checks I could do in the Wormways, but I couldn't get to them all unfortunately. I then went further up into the Blasted Steppes. I didn't actually manage to find any good items in this area either. The best thing was the Beast Crest once I unlocked the Bellway station at the top of the Blasted Steppes. The only other thing I came out of this with was the worry that some items could be behind Steel Soul exclusive things. I looked on the map and saw that where the Steel Soul quest would be, there was a randomizer icon. That wouldn't be fair to make me do Steel Soul to get all the checks, so hopefully that is not the case for this run. Not even Grindel with his shop could make up for the lack of good items around this area. Are you here to browse my wares that are totally obtained legally? I'm not here to judge you, thief. Show me what you have. Oh, that's it. I thought you'd have more than just some junk. Listen here, don't go and talk about me that way. I have a reputation to uphold. I had a lot of intel about good stuff, but when I went to get them, they were replaced with this. So Menderbug struck even against the thieves. Since I was already in the area, I also took on the Sands of Karak. Well, as much as I could right now. The only problem is that the one item that was useful out of all the different checks was one that wasn't even randomized. Yeah, so it seems that the ingredients for the Great Taste of Arloom do not randomize. Quite interesting, as the reward for it isn't randomized either since it's a pale oil. Another interesting bit is that after defeating the Vault Worm, the randomized reward for the boss was the Vault Filament and the dropped reward was something else. Normally, the purple thing that falls on the ground is the filament itself. Then I wanted to check out some more of Greymoor and slowly make my way towards Phantom and then Bile Water. I really didn't want to go there, but there are less and less areas to check, so taking on a huge part of the map with all abilities available would be a good idea. So I went and met with the Flea Caravan as I could quickly get the Flea Brew check and get to Greymoor. It was only a mask shard, but that's still good as I got another full mask. I am here to help you with your lost fleas. I have been finding them in the most random of places, but didn't realize until now they had a home. Oh, so it was you who saved them. Or, well, woke some of them up. I know they're quite mischievous. Thank you so much for taking care of them. It's no problem. The only thing I'm afraid is for them to not end up in more dangerous situations because of that bug. I need to get to the top of the Citadel soon. Then why not let us take you to Greymoor? That's our next stop and it's closer to the Citadel than this place. Hornet looks at the fleas all getting in the caravan and answers yes, especially if she can travel with the fluffy little ones. I was back in Greymoor and decided to take on some more checks around there, specifically the top left part of the area and a quick dip inside the Wisp ticket. The flea inside the tower gave me the Putrefied Ducks Bellway, which I will use in a bit, while the Wisp ticket didn't have much in it at all. The Putrefied Ducks didn't have much either. There was the Apostate Key, but that would only be helpful if I ever have to go to the slab, and I would much rather not. With the detour done, I went back on going towards Phantom, though a quick stop had to be done as Morwing decided to appear and make some trouble. I took it down and it gave me the usual beast shard if you defeat it at the second location alongside some rosaries. I was hoping for, you know, a melody or something like that. Then I made my way through Sinner's Road, trying to grab most of the easy checks I could get. I did beat up Lugoli for the quest. Weirdly enough, the fight is getting easier as I do it again and again for these runs. Maybe by the time I do a few more, I will be able to do Steel Soul 2 without dying. I also saved Pill as I will need him for the Courier's Rashes. The mist went quite smoothly other than me falling into it once, and the second time around, the second half of the area was way too long. I believe it was because there were no right side exits in the rooms I went in, because most of the time I came in from the right side of said room. Anyways, I made it to Phantom and did a quick skip actually, since I had Silksong. The fight with Phantom started, went for a while, then ended with me victorious and my reward being the Witch Crest. Not very fitting if you ask me, but crests are good. With the way unlocked, I went ahead and did the Courier's Rashes using the Phantom route. Last time I did this, I thought it's pretty fast to do it this way, and I think it is indeed faster than the Last Judge routes. I got hit 3 times during this mission, and even with that, I still had 1.5 bars of the rashes remaining when I finished the delivery. The only difference from a normal run was the Silksong I used to skip some of the exhaust organ, but that would at most be half of a bar. Either way, with this, I was able to get the last oil. Wait a minute, I don't have the most druid ingredient. Yeah, I totally forgotten about that one. A quick detour to get it, then back to Mergwyn, and I got the final pale oil I could get in Act 2. With that, I went back to Belheart and upgraded my needle twice. I also forgot to upgrade the needle back when I got the first pale oil in the vaults. Well, it seems like it didn't make that much of a difference, but still a bit embarrassing. I have a confession. Right now, what you're seeing is me on my way to go to Bile Water and get the checks there. I went in, got whatever was on the way to the Bellway station, and that's where I found it. The final melody was indeed in Bile Water. My confession is that I forgot to press the record button when I stopped the last recording. I wanted to have my recordings be around an hour long for ease of going through the footage, but that kinda screwed me over. But yeah, I only got to the Bellway station and there wasn't anything else good on the way there. Now it was time to finish the game. I went and sat down at the Cogwork Core bench just in case, and I did good with that. As my first attempt at least, I died. I just didn't pay enough attention to the fight as I thought, oh hey, I have a lot of health and damage, no way she beats me. Yeah, then multiple attacks that dealt double damage hit me and I died. On the second try, I managed to get through and beat Lace. It is quite weird how other interactive cutscenes like this one were skipped before, but not this one. I guess you need to do it in order to open the door. Good. You're strong. Why did you stand in my way? Weren't you looking to take out Menderbug too? I do, and if that didn't happen, I might have fought alongside you. What do you mean? The bug. It burrowed into the cocoon some time ago, and ever since, the weird things around Farloom started happening. So the Songclave caretaker was right. He did merge with a higher being. You knew as well? Well, I wish you luck. I wasn't able to take it down, but maybe you can. And quite fitting that one of the final items was a flea. The sound it made with the reverb was quite funny. As for the actual final item, it was the cradle map which gave me the pin badge. Now it was time for Grandmother Silk. Hornet went and climbed the cradle to finally face the one atop the Citadel. She challenged in front of the cocoon, expecting Menderbug to come out, maybe alongside the higher being, as she didn't truly believe a normal bug could ascend. But she was wrong. As soon as the cocoon burst, the giant glowing Menderbug is what came out of it. The bad bug actually ascended and became a higher being. The Hornet would not stop just because of that. After a long and hard-fought battle that I don't have the animation skills to properly show on screen, Hornet finally drove her needle into Menderbug and binded the silk that gave him powers, thus rendering him to nothingness. Menderbug was finally defeated. Or at least, that's what everyone believed. While Hornet was recovering in Songclave from the fight, something changed. Menderbug took over the empty spot the Radiance had left open within the Dream Realm. Because of the infection that was within him and the higher being powers absorbed, he was able to change and become a dreamlike being as well. Would this state of being satisfy him, or would he want to cause more chaos in the world of Hollow Knight? Okay, I will be having the actual Grandmother Silk fight here during the outro bit. The reason I didn't showcase it is obviously because of the lore, but also because it's an easy enough fight. As I mentioned earlier, I managed to find most of the normal abilities you would have by the point you fight most bosses, including the needle upgrades. If, for example, I didn't have Fade Down or Swift Step, or I was at no needle upgrades, most likely I would have shown a lot more of the boss fights. The run itself was really fun. It was quite nice to use something like Silk Sword way before it's actually needed. The main difference between this and a normal run was all the sequence breaking I was able to do by getting the Grand Beltway station early on. I still took on the Citadel later than when I got to it, but that was my decision to not have a bad time dealing with those enemies without many upgrades. If you're interested in this randomizer, you could try it out, but I still recommend you wait for the official one from the same team that did the Hollow Knight randomizer. That one you can actually choose whatever randomization settings you want before any run, and while I'm sure you can do that too with Archipelago, I'm not sure how. Plus, who knows how many add-ons for stuff like breakable walls, rocks, grass, or even lore tablets will be made later. I really like doing this run, and if you did like it too, why not leave a like, comment, or subscribe to the channel, or check out the videos in the end screen. I have a bunch more challenge runs on the channel with more coming soon, all having these lore bits and changes. I also do want to do more randomizer stuff, but I will only be doing Hollow Knight for now and wait for the other Silksong randomizer to release. Well, I think that sums it all up. I want to thank you for watching, and I hope to see you all in the next one.